Welcome to HomoCast with starring Eunice and Sean and
Hello.
me,
Hi.
Liam. This is not a podcast. I have my two friends here that I also recruited. They may or may not be on every other episode.
You don't know that.
That's true. They could. You could be on one episode and then you're banned. But
Oh my god.
Lloyd, you're gonna get banned from Minecraft server. Okay. We're off to a good start though.
Calling Donnie. Don! We had some trouble over here.
So I mean, we're just gonna start off with the topic. Would you rather be happy or would you rather be successful in life? So that's like, would you rather have a lot of money and not be really happy with what you're doing, or would you rather be happy with what you're doing and have not a lot of money? Eunice, you're on the spot. This is you.
Well, I first started out doing weed at age 14. What I think, a lot of people say that happiness comes with success, but I think that's a load of garbage.
Yeah, that's not really true. Cause like, success is like, it's kind of like a satisfaction. Oh, I did a thing. But if you're not happy with the thing that you're doing, are you actually happy?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. A lot of people are like, especially a lot of people who try real hard in high school and college and are just burned out, kind of just realize they're not happy at all and not doing what they want to be doing.
Yeah.
And
I think some people are lucky. Some people are like, oh, I want to be a teacher, and then they go become a teacher and love it. But it's like, it's not that. It doesn't always happen. It's like, sometimes you're like at the thing that you want to do, and you're like, wait, this sucks. Why did I spend the last like 4 years trying to do this? You know?
yeah, or even worse, why did I spend the last 40 years doing this? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who are like in their, third or fourth year of college now who are like, shit, I have to change majors after all this time because I hate whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, after all the coke they've done.
Oh, yeah.
The college coke criminals,
Yeah.
But,
CCC. Watch out!
Well, I mean, the thing is that, like, when I got out of high school, a lot of people in my life, like my, parents, teachers, guidance counselors, really wanted me to go to college because I got, like, pretty good grades, but I hated school, and I hated, like, that sit in a classroom and sit here and learn environment, and it just wasn't really fit to me, and I kind of realized that, like, I took like a year and a half off after school before I enlisted in the military, and I just really like was trying to find like some kind of permanent thing to do that wasn't college related because I knew I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I knew that it wasn't going to make me happy, and because it wasn't going to make me happy, if I went to school I probably would have just ended up partying and wasting my time, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, probably like a few months before I started considering the military, and it was like pretty much immediately once that happened, like I talked to a recruiter and then ended up in the Marine Corps, which was for ill-fated, but it taught me a lot. Like I learned a lot while I was there, that college isn't your only option. You don't have to sit in an office,
Mm-hmm.
And I think to me, like, I would like to have some money, but I don't need to be super rich and successful because ultimately I think that like starts to weigh you down to a certain point if you like get addicted to chasing the money, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people think, oh, I can either go to school and get money or not go to school and not get money. But it's like, you can find stability in other ways. It's not like going to college is the very,
the end all be all.
Yeah. I think the thing is, though, people are scared of risk. People are scared of, like, oh, if I don't go to college, it's not guaranteed. But if you go to college, it's still not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And you also spend, how many years you spent in the college, plus, the tuition, plus, whatever the fucking money you spent. And then you have college debt, most likely, unless you're super rich and don't have to do that shit, or do it smartly.
Yeah.
If your parents love you enough.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that like a lot of people are told, go to college and then you get a degree and whatever and then you're guaranteed a job, but you're not. There's a lot of fields that even if they are fields that pay you a lot of money, if you can get a job, they either they're really low on jobs, or they're really oversaturated with, candidates looking for whatever the position is.
Yeah.
Or also, it's a lot of people run into the problem where you need, 4 years experience for whatever it is, even if it's an entry-level position and you're fresh out of college, so you don't have that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, I think with, you look at a lot of successful people who are, in business, and a lot of them dropped out of college, and I don't necessarily think that the act of dropping out, caused them to be successful, but, the adaptability and the aggressive, willingness to take risks that comes from that, of just, completely cutting themselves loose from, I don't know how to describe it, formula and structure.
Yeah.
The ability to just kind of, trailblaze for themselves. I think that's, a skill that a lot of people either don't have or don't really know how to practice.
Yeah, because it's not encouraged, really. It's follow the instructions and you'll get what you want, but that's really not how simple it is.
No.
I mean, it's encouraged in, like a smaller form, like the whole, be creative, have your own ideas, do all this. But when it comes to, making major life choices, it's more like, we've got these guidelines, we've got these, a path you can go down, multiple paths you can go down.
Yeah.
And, once you start to stray off the path, they're like, you shouldn't do that because,
it's not recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doctors don't recommend it. You could get cancer by becoming an artist.
Yeah.
It's if you deviate too much, you're just considered, lesser, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, until you make it, though. And then once you make it, it's look at this entrepreneur, look at him go.
Ooh,
and then,
yeah.
Let me suck that cock.
Yeah. But then until then, it's you're trash.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Nobody gives a shit until you're famous, you
Yeah.
know? And I've seen a lot of people on the art side of things who are, in their late 20s, early 30s, who are, now starting to get a following, bands especially, and people are like, oh, wow, you had this breakout hit, and it's well, you missed out on, a decade of sleeping on couches and, playing for gas money to get to the next gig.
Yeah.
And I feel like art or any kind of, creative thing like that, it's definitely very rewarding, but in a different... You're not going to get a lot of money a lot of the time doing it, but you're going to get a lot of, I don't know, experience.
Yeah. And that's, people don't really credit that experience because they're oh, you're just going to be poor for a long time. But I think if you live in a more poor way and are happier, that's really not a bad thing,
Yeah.
Because... When you're happier in that sense and you're able to just spend all your time towards, stuff that you really love and enjoy instead of 8+ hours, working on something you don't enjoy, then it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
And it makes it worth it. That's why people do it in the first place,
Yeah. A lot of people 9 to 5 say they have a lot of free time because, you get the weekends and everything in between. And I feel like
that's not true.
I feel like you're not true, but with that,
Well,
you have a lot of time to explore yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which you probably should have done earlier in your life, but there's still, no matter what, there's still time to change, I guess. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
if anybody ever found themselves in that situation of an office job, I want to kill myself.
Oh yeah, you can totally break out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's the other thing, is a lot of people are locked into that idea of, well, I'm in this job, I got this college degree, I'm in management or whatever.
Got a wife.
And they're, they have all this stuff. And especially it's harder once you're married and you have kids, because when you're, 20, it's a lot easier to just pick up things and completely change. But when you've got 2 kids to feed, it's a lot harder to justify a major life transition.
Use protection, kids.
Yeah. Top tip.
Also, yeah. Pro tip: don't breed.
See, I want to be like that. I want to be like, Sam Hyde and Elon Musk. Teaching
Giving iPads to African
Freaking
children.
Going on TED Talk and just being
Yeah. Just, I really would love to do that just as a test of my improv skills, just to go on to a 20-minute TED Talk and bullshit the entire thing.
Yeah.
That's what Sam. Well, at least when Sam does his stand-up,
Yeah.
it's all improv.
It's all improv,
He
yeah.
doesn't-
And it's crazy because, like, I don't know, I really respect people who are, especially performers, who can not just do, like, a structured thing, but who can improv.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, like, jazz musicians, more than a lot of other genres, that's a thing that they do. They'll just get up on stage and, you know, play.
Yeah, like, a solo is, like, taught. And like, I used to be in band, and, like, in jazz band, there was, like, oh, yeah, it's your time for a solo, and they're just, like, play some notes, and it's like, oh,
have at it. And you've got your safe zone, and, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
some people can come up with some amazing stuff.
Yeah. I think if you just know your craft well, it's kind of easy, you know. It's kind of like a formula to follow in a way, except in your own style.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of the whole thing about, like, art in general. Like, as you go, you get to know your own preferences, and then those preferences evolve into kind of a style. It's like you do things this way, so it just kind of naturally is implemented into all your art.
Like appropriation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like what you're doing every time you practice something. It's like you're just tweaking it a little bit more to be your own, you know, to be your own thing. It's like when you're first learning how to do something, you have no clue and you're trash like everyone else is, but as it evolves, that's like, it's kind of like how the journey is kind of more important than the goal, than the end of it, because the journey is what shapes you in the end anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can talk about, since we brought up Sam Hyde, we can talk about, like, people we admire in the...
yeah, no, definitely. He's one of my idols, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of entertainment and comedy and just challenging ideas that are usually against the flow of like society and like social norms and not like people will get on his case about the, you know, anti-Semitism and just like any
too anti-PC
anti-PC jokes, and it's just it's very anti-establishment, and that's what a lot of people want.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, I think, though, a lot of people don't want anti-establishment. They want to feel like they're rebelling against something.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that frustrates me because you get people who are like, yeah, I'm against the establishment, and they're listening to the same Nirvana record they were 20 years ago, and they haven't changed. Like, you know, I feel like there's sort of this big shift in art recently a lot with, like, stuff that Sam Hyde's doing, and there's a lot of different comedians and musicians that are kind of in that same weird vein, but...
Yeah, you could even say, like, Filthy Frank.
Yeah, like... Well, and that's the other... Like, Filthy Frank, for example, he's, like, a comedian, but he's got, like, music projects, and he does, you know... I think social media plays a big part now. In a way, there isn't like a name for a movement anymore like you had like in the 60s. There were the hippies, and it was a clear and defined, like, okay, we're all gonna meet in this field and we're all gonna drop acid, and then the Grateful Dead's gonna play, and there was like a very set schedule to it.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, oh, you know, Vectroid dropped a new single and I really like it, so I'm gonna remix it and put it on my SoundCloud, and anybody can do that now.
Yeah.
It's a lot more... There's so much accessibility with art, which is why I don't think that there's really going to be as much of an emphasis on movements, at least moving forward.
Yeah, there's local movements.
Yeah,
definitely a lot of that.
But I think it moves a lot faster than like
absolutely
clear and defined like labels for, you know, an era.
Yeah. I think like that's like, I mean, you can even say the same thing that happened to feminism. Like, feminism had waves. It was like they had the first, you know, the first wave and the second wave and third wave, and they all had differences because they all kind of came from different areas. Like, they all had different reasons to do what they did. And then, of course, there was, like, the radical feminists who made a bad name for the people who were actually just for equality, and then everything got fucked up from there, and now we have the stereotype that feminism is, like, a joke, you know?
The Tumblr SJW caricature.
So I think it's people like bandwagoning movements like that kind of...
Yeah.
Because it's more of a public thing where it's like, oh, I identify as this group, and this is why I'm a special snowflake, you know?
Well, I think also, like, when you have something... If it's a piece of art, you have an artist that makes that and produces it, but if it's like a social movement, it's a lot harder to have like a
constraint on it.
Yeah, like an idea of what it is specifically, because if you have like ultimately with a piece of music, different people can have their different interpretations of it, but like somebody made that and they get to decide how it's used. And
yeah,
like there wasn't like a band that started feminism, you know, it's a lot harder to pin down. And that also means that anyone who does something under that name brands everyone who uses that name. And to the same end, like the alt-right started sort of as like a weird combination of people on image boards who were either libertarian or just straight up ironic fascists. And you know, it's like a weird, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
yeah, it evolved.
It evolves over time, and it means different things to different people. But the problem is that you throw all of these people
under one banner.
Yeah, and it's like I can sit down and have a conversation with you guys in this room right now, but it'd be a lot harder to fit, you know, a level-headed conversation with 500 people.
Yeah, because everyone's gonna take what you say differently, you know.
And that's especially like Twitter is the worst for that because you're very limited in your amount to speak.
130 characters.
So having a discussion in 100 and whatever.
And now with the addition of being able to like block people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can mute words.
Mute the words. That's so
yeah
stupid.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with stuff like that, because if you're trying to filter out certain things, it's like, I don't want this in my feed. I need to stop seeing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand, like, if you're being harassed or targeted. But at the same time, like, I feel like the other thing is that because so much of what our culture is you can just passively ignore things you disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
Things like people become more radicalized, almost not even on purpose, just because they only
it's kind of
listen to things that say what they want to hear.
Yeah, it's kind of like listening to just like yelling something at a wall and hearing that go back. It's like it just kind of festers until like there's like, oh, okay, we need change, and they're like, why do we need change?
Just keeps turning off.
I guess another person who, unrelated to Sam Hyde, is good old Mac DeMarco.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
Mac DeMarco is an artist from Canada who is known for his unique style of music called jizz jazz. Or really is actually called like psychedelic rock, or just kind of like a slacker rock.
Yeah.
And he is, I feel like, a very genuine person in who he is and his personality. It's not like an act that he puts on. He's sporadic and just extremely. He's a very, I wouldn't say relaxed. He's actually very energetic. I would say he is, and it contrasts to his music like a lot, because when you listen to his music, you get this calm voice from Mac.
Yeah.
And then you like watch a documentary about him, or like a video of him, and he's shoving a drumstick up his asshole. Like like this happened in a concert. He like took a drumstick and shoved it up his ass. And it's just the best thing to like find out and hear about when it comes to like people like this. And his lifestyle is just something I want, I guess, to live.
You're craving the drumstick.
The drumstick. Yeah. I can feel it already. No,
can you?
No. But he kind of dresses like a bum.
Mm-hmm.
Is what he does, and he lives like a very bummy lifestyle. But he lives comfortably because of like how the money that his music brings in. And I feel like that's what I really want.
Yeah. Because people are like, oh, I got this money, I should live, a flashy lifestyle. But
check out my Lamborghini.
Yeah. Let me flex with my gold watch and my Bugatti Oy Veyron.
If I had a lot of money and not a problem with it, I would probably just spend it on shit that I already have, like just more of it probably.
Yeah.
Or except I have a computer and then I just buy a better one. It's not like I'm like...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely like upgrade the stuff that you would ever
just
have.
like practical things.
Yeah.
I could buy
That's the thing, like I can never understand like how people blow through millions of dollars so quickly, because like I don't know. I mean, I have certain stuff that I like that's expensive, like computers and stuff, but I can't really ever see myself needing, like, you know, fine jewelry or, like, a big mansion.
Yeah.
Big man, huh?
Because, yeah.
Big mansion for the big man.
I don't understand, like, why people buy houses that big. You know, I just wouldn't know what to do with the space.
Yeah, same. I like a smaller, confined, like, organized space.
Yeah.
I'd make all my friends live with me if I had a big mansion. There's never a dull moment.
Oh, God, I can only imagine.
Just like one giant apartment.
Yeah. That'd be great, though.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
good
know.
to dream. It's good to dream.
Yeah, like, the only thing I would do with more money is, like, I would buy my friends things, and then I would, like, make sure I didn't die of starvation or some shit, but...
Yeah, you know, instead of going to the store and buying one bag of Dorito,
Gotta buy 3.
buy 3 bags of Doritos.
Gotta get that Dorito, the nacho cheese and the Cool Ranch.
Get all 3 flavors.
Don't mention them. Are they paying for this?
Yeah.
Are they?
Sponsored by Doritos.
Sponsored, yeah.
Please sponsor us.
Please give us money.
Doritos.
We're poor.
The tasty... The taste.
The
Snack-
tasty
The
taste.
snack that smiles back. Doritos.
And then we can get our Halo 3 codes from
Yeah.
it, you know, and
We'll get you Doritos. They'll make your feet small.
yeah.
Get you a girlfriend.
Can't forget our activation cans of Mountain Dew trademark.
yeah.
pending.
Someone that, I mean, I gotta say, I am basic, and I like Filthy Frank and, like, Joji and how he does his stuff, because, like, I even appreciate how he goes out of his way, not even really out of his way, but he lives both of his lifestyles, kind of. He writes for Filthy Frank and does all that shit, and then he makes his music, and then I don't know, like, to the extent of what he does, but, like, it's interesting that he's able to just do all. I don't know. It fascinates me that someone can just off of their creations and off of their, you know, ingenuity and their connections can just make them like they don't need anything else really. They just need to just keep doing themselves, and they have the following to be self-sustaining.
Yeah. The thing about Joji and Frank is he definitely got his following for his antics.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, the music got a boost.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, without his acts of vile, his filth, you probably wouldn't have heard of his music unless you were like, going through SoundCloud and were like, oh, yeah, I got Joji with my Koan sound and my SoundCloud posts.
Yeah.
And I'm all set.
I think that one of the most important things, and this is gonna sound weird, but like as an artist, the most important thing you can do is like promotion of a brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
because it helps. Like, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
there's like this thing that I kind of realized: if people like the person, they pretty much like everything they do. So like no matter what, they can like, cause what does Filthy Frank do? He does like pretty much ridiculously stupid like videos. And people love it because they already love Frank. And it kind of adds to it. Sometimes, like, just people doing purposefully stupid stuff is also, I don't know.
Another one of my, like, personal idols is, he's the musician Childish Gambino, who also is known by his regular name, Donald Glover, is, like, he does a bunch of different stuff. He's, like, a musician, he's an actor, he's a comedian, he's got, like, a show on... I can't remember what network now, but no, it's like a drama show now. But he was in Community, which was like a comedy show. But he talks about like his music is basically what he does when he doesn't have something else going on, when he's not like working on something for TV or working in a movie. He'll put out an album just to fuck around. Yeah, just to promote his brand. And he's like, you know, I'm not really making any money off the albums, but if I do go on tour, that's where I'm, you know, getting my living off of, because, like, it's almost just his music acts sort of as an ad for every other thing that he does. You know, the movies he's in and the tour that he goes on or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's like really interesting to me to watch as an observer. Someone like put all this effort and into something, and it's basically just promotional material for all of their other work.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like, I've never like really looked into like stuff like that, like how social media and all that stuff works. Like, there are classes now for social media and stuff like that, which, as like, to me, for someone who saw it growing up, social media is like, it's kind of a joke, but you see it taken really seriously in a lot of business situations. Like, there's like, you hire people to run your social media now, and that's like, knowing social media is like a skill in a way. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because it crept up on us. Like, over the past decade or so, you went from, like, you know, MySpace was a thing that, like, kids in high school used to, like, shitpost at each other. And then now everyone has a Facebook and everyone has a Twitter.
Yeah.
And, you know, every day most people, at least in America anyway, are, like, on YouTube watching videos or streaming music somehow. Or
Yeah, it's like another form of advertising.
Yeah, and it's a weird, and it's also like on a personal level, like Facebook is just advertisement for the individual.
Yeah.
It's really weird how it's worked out like that, because, you know, you have your profile, but it's just your name, and every person now is promoting their brand of themselves.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like, you get to choose your own advertising. You get to choose what bullshit you see every day. And it's funny, advertising really inherently isn't a bad thing. It's just kind of given a negative kind of tone, because like everyone now kind of ignores like ads and stuff. Like, if you see like an ad on YouTube, you're gonna skip it immediately because you want to see the video, you know? It's like, and then there are people who are like little people who are like, oh, let me advertise myself, and then everyone's like, don't advertise yourself, fuck you. Is like, but then you see fucking Big Mac commercial on the TV like all the time, and it's like no one's giving them shit, you know?
Yeah, it's like, this is how you eat a Big Mac.
Well, I think that as far as advertising goes, this is why I think the internet is taking over as like TV in terms of broadcasting. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more like shows on YouTube, or at least on, you know, Netflix or Hulu or one of those networks.
Definitely Netflix.
Because, well, yeah, they've already got basically like a series of shows that they're putting just out on their platform. Well, yeah.
YouTube Red.
YouTube Red's a bad platform.
I love YouTube Red.
They let scare PewDiePie.
It's because they don't understand their customer base, and they're trying to make the internet more like TV, which is not what's happening.
That's the opposite of what should happen.
Yeah. Well, because TV, like, you pay for a subscription monthly, and then also, like, a third of your time is wasted on advertisements.
Yeah.
Whereas on the internet, on Netflix, you can get anything you can get on TV whenever you want, instead of having to wait for when it's on, and there's no ads for, like, way less money than you're paying for a TV subscription.
Yeah.
And I think that there's, like, this weird divide where you can either pay a small amount of money every month, or you have to deal with ads, and whatever it is free.
Like $40 a month, and then you get Viceland, though. Hey.
I mean, yeah, Viceland's weird though, because it's like it went from a news, like a print magazine, to a website, and now it's a TV channel.
Yeah. It evolved because it especially caters to, you know, millennials, and that's us. There's a lot of us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us that got some dosh and like weed and and random bullshit that only temporarily eases the pain of existence.
Oh, we're gonna bring this into the existential depression immediately. We're 32 minutes in. We made it 32 minutes before we.
What you doing? God.
For the folks at home who can't see this man just pretended to smoke a flash drive.
A wireless adapter.
Oh.
This is the decaying wireless adapter from my computer from like 3 years ago.
Woo!
With those little speakers.
Yeah.
Shit, there was
Oh yeah, Viceland. No, Viceland's cool.
I definitely think it is. It's
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see where it goes in the coming months.
Yeah, they have some interesting documentaries on their YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
There's one about this skateboarder. His name is Ali Boulala, who's coincidentally an Algerian, and he talks about his time.
Why is that coincidental, Eunice? They can't see you.
Oh yeah!
All right. So
No, anyway. So yeah, Ali Boulala, he's a skateboarder from I believe he was from Sweden, and he moved to America, and of course around in late '90s, early 2000s, where skateboarding was still I think it was kind of dying by then, but still saw a lot of success commercially, and he was definitely got involved with drugs and shit, and just talking about his how it went and his recovery, and I believe his leg got messed up real bad.
Crocodile.
Yeah, no croc, none of that. You know how that is.
shout out to Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe. Hey, Gabe.
Wait, telling me Gabe was crocodile?
Gabe did crocodile.
He did
Really?
it one time. Yeah.
What the fuck? That's just Alright, you know what? Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Gabe, stop smoking. Nah, actually, you can keep smoking. Just don't do crocodile again.
Hit them Viceroys.
Yeah, punch darts. Eat ass. Skate fast.
So, Eunice, you touched on the Algerian subject. What? Tell me what it's like being a first generation American.
It's kind of stupid. It's just stupid.
Well, I mean, do you want to go into any detail?
I don't think it...
Talk about your
I don't know,
experience.
all it is a mix of cultures, where I'm pretty sure a lot of first generations of anything.
Yeah, because
No.
you're gonna have conflicts because it's
Well, I understand
speak
that,
the
but
same.
I don't know.
About the conflicts that occur between one culture. It's like a clash of cultures,
Yeah.
where you're raising your kid in one culture, and you're still trying to uphold the values from another, and it just it doesn't really work out that well.
Yeah.
And it seems like that always happens, but in my case it's just very, very different. I feel like it's almost like an isolated case because of how my parents have treated a lot of things. Maybe but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a mix of things for me, but
How has it affected your outlook on things versus? I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to compare, but versus someone who wasn't brought up in that kind of clashing environment.
It's trying to find that balance where you can be happy with the culture you live in, and trying to find a way to make your parents happy, I guess.
Yeah.
Because at least for my parents, on my mother's side of things, she expresses concern in a very unhealthy way, and it can be a bit heavy on me when trying to deal with that situation and just trying to live my life
Yeah.
and make the choices I want to make, and it's just another thing I'll have to deal with until I leave their house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be able to do whatever I want. So I was playing Minecraft recently, just not actually.
Come on with my new Minecraft Let's Play tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, I
Be
got
sure to
on-
check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. My new Let's Play. It's of the new Pokemon.
I
But,
got my new RuneScape Let's Play coming out.
Ooh.
My new RuneScape Gold Guide.
Yeah, how did 99 all your skills in 1 hour?
How to get
really
RuneScape
low.
in Roblox?
Oh, yeah.
How to get Minecraft in Roblox? This
I made a Minecraft emulator in Minecraft
hell yeah.
using Redstone. Please check it out.
Ooh.
No.
Nut.
That was okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, just cut all of that out. That was terrible. That was not.
I'll probably keep it just for the
was
meme
just-
factor.
Of course you'll keep the shit posting.
I'll just get rid of all the genuine discussion we had.
Yeah.
Just
And
keep that clip. Just air it as a
Just
podcast.
2 minutes of us being degenerate.
Alright. Gotta give us some good topics. That's the map. We can use traveling.
Traveled a couple of times.
I traveled to Australia and New Zealand and
Wait.
Jamaica.
You have?
Yeah, that was in
You've been to
7th grade.
Australia?
Yeah, in 7th grade.
In Sarah
You were
Boyd
there,
Grade?
Eunice.
What?
You were in my middle school still.
I was in your middle school. I didn't know you went to
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah,
I went to Algeria that year.
Yeah, starts with an A, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, so we probably went to the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like the same, you know.
Yeah, we compromised. Yeah, we compromised and went to Austria. That's
Yeah.
Hey, Austria's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can talk about Australia though, and you can talk about.
Our boys in Australia.
Oh yeah, we're Gaben, you know.
Yeah, we got Gabe, we got Jep, we got Kai. That's it, but they're the fucking boys, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, we probably have more, just don't know that they're from Australia. And we have Jack from New Zealand, but you know.
New Zealand
That's
is whack.
Ooh!
Whoa.
New Zealand, they got them sheep. Fucking New Zealand.
What the fuck? What kind of country got these fucking sheep?
New Zealand diss track coming out
Yeah.
next Tuesday.
About to get some.
Got our
fire.
Around the World album.
Oh
Alright,
yeah.
so tell us about Australia. Did you see
Alright.
Kangaroo?
I did see Kangaroo.
Alright,
Not,
that's all you need to tell us.
Yeah, it's kangaroo.com.
Yeah.
Alright, so I went to Australia and New Zealand in the 7th grade. I think it was like halfway through. We went for like 2 weeks because the school system didn't really care. They were like, bye. So we went to there, and we went only really because my mom had been wanting to go there for a while. She had saved up and everything. It was like one of those things where she's like, oh, I need to get away from everything and just have a vacation. Then she brought me. So that's what happened.
Was that similar to what happened recently when you went to fucking Greece and
Yeah,
Rome
Italy and
Minecraft?
Greece.
I
Yeah.
didn't know you went any of these places.
This was a lot better than the most recent time though.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, we went to Sydney. In Australia, we went to Sydney. It's a great city. I recommend going there if you ever want to like visit a city and don't know where to go. Sydney is a great place.
That's where Kai lives.
I forget. Oh yeah, and then we went to Melbourne. Melbourne. Maybe we didn't go there. No, we went to Cairns. Cairns is a jungle place. It's kind of a jungle. It's like a rainforest. They got a lot of big old spiders and shit.
Oh, it's not a spider, it's a fucking monkey.
I don't know why you.
What sound does a spider make? Like a creeper. Kill myself.
Fuck.
Okay. That was a level we've made it to this early.
We've already ascended, dude.
Fucking God Emperor.
Wow, we've been at this for almost 45 minutes.
45. But Cairns was a cool place. I'm just not really a good fan of the rainforest. There was also it actually has a cool ass beach there. Cairns was where I had kangaroo and crocodile. That was
Ooh.
good. It
Wait,
was,
you ate it?
Yeah, consume. You know.
Consume.
But yeah, no, kangaroo. If I were to compare it to foods that you would know, it's like steak. Basically, it's like steak except a lot easier to chew. And they actually treat kangaroo like they do cows here. Like they sell like meat in like grocery stores and shit.
Yeah.
And crocodile was basically like, I don't know, like really thin chicken, I want to say. That's the best way I can describe it.
Tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken. That's the most stereotypical thing I've said, but
Well, you know how it is.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and then we went to the straight in the old Outback. The fuck is that just called?
The Outback?
That might just be
bush?
called the Outback.
Yeah, I mean,
I forget.
anything like deserty.
Yeah. We saw Uluru, the big old rock, giant ass. Uluru, look it up.
Shit.
Just the big old red rock.
Yeah. Thing that's made out of plastic secretly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's fake. It's
Yeah.
video edited.
Shit.
Then after that, we went back to Sydney and we took a cruise to New Zealand. And about on the last day, I think, I contracted a stomach bug because dumbass passengers won't stay in their quarantine. But yeah, I was like bedridden for the next like 4 stops, which were all New Zealand. And then I got to see like a little bit of Auckland. And then there was fucking I forget what it was called. It was like
Start with a B.
it's a
G?
church place. It might.
Churchill Road.
Nah, it was
The
like
Vatican?
nah.
You
it
saw
was-
Jesus?
Yeah, I met Jesus and the Pope
Oh.
in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
it was like, it was this place called like it was something with the church. It was a big old church. It was a place with churches. That's all I know. But there was a big famous church that was there
Big old church with churches.
that we visited, and then like a week or a month later, it collapsed in an earthquake.
Shit.
So
Oh.
we were big old lucky.
Okay.
We saw the church, and then we skedaddled.
Skiddy.
But really, I don't know. Australia was much more impressive to me than New Zealand. I mean, look at the size.
I mean,
look
yeah.
at that. Look at that.
I mean, look at the size, but
look at the
but
size, dude.
Realize that.
Listeners, please look at the size.
Yeah,
So,
can-
like, imagine the size of Australia and realize that 3/4 of it is like uninhabited by people.
Yeah.
They're all along the coast of Australia, and the rest is like kangaroos and aborigines, and,
Yeah.
you know, fucking
Didgeridoos.
didgeridoos.
Yeah.
I love how that's the motion.
So it is.
I also enjoy that you put kangaroos and aborigines in the same category, Eunice.
I'm not racist.
That, I mean, there's really not much more to say about it. It was a nice place. I'd probably revisit again. Sydney is still my favorite city out of all the cities I've been to.
I'm gonna have to check out Brisbane.
I've never been there.
That's where Gabe lives.
Yeah.
Or, no, yeah, I've seriously considered throwing my life away and just flying to Australia and trying to.
Trying to just
make it
start
there
it
as a
off.
kangaroo
Make it there.
fisherman.
Hell yeah. Yeah, but it's something I've seriously considered.
Yeah.
Something I still am kind of considering. I definitely want to visit though. I want
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
my friends. I want to see Jep. I want to see Kai. I want to see Gabe. They're all. I don't know if you ever like talked to much of Jep or Kai, but they're great. They're
Yeah.
real big on that shit posting game back in early 2015. We've had our fair share of good times on Skype
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it'd be nice to see him.
Yeah. So, you want to talk about your travels?
Been to Algeria a couple times for like 3 months at a time, because my mom misses her family, I guess, and sometimes my dad too.
Is this like during the summer?
Yeah. Like for 7th grade, I went
Mm-hmm.
for the whole summer.
Damn.
And we just sit around and do nothing, really. Honestly, it's just sit around at one house for like a month, and then alternate between the families. Sometimes we'll go out to the beach. But it's kind of just like, to explain my experience, it's like, buy a PS2, buy a bunch of bootlegged games of like Naruto, go out, ask for like 10 cents to get like candy, and that's the average day.
Really?
Yeah, that was my average day in Algeria.
Wow.
But there were some good times now that I think about it, where we would just like, some people would be having a wedding and there'd be like a lot of nice food to eat, and just music, and I really like the you know how when you look at like videos of war-torn Syria,
Yeah.
Algeria kind of looks like that, except
Right.
it's not as war-torn.
Yeah?
Yeah, because the French.
Yeah.
And I just really like how it looks. It's like especially where my father's family is. It's a place called Akbu, which is like a place up in the mountains of southern, or like it's kind of like the middle of Algeria,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great, beautiful place where I guess a lot of the culture that I would be proud of is from, which is the culture of the Berbers, also known as Kabyles,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got a lot of good music that I'm pretty fond of, and just there's a nice sense of community, especially in the village that my dad lived in, and there was a lot of good memories, like going out during like the night, and watching a soccer game, and going out to get ice cream, all like within the same night. And there's like sections of the place that were like dimly lit, not dimly lit, but they were actually, there was It was brightly lit, actually, and it was just tropical kind of.
Yeah.
Like almost. I don't want to say it's desolate because there was a lot of activity at night, and it was a lot of fun. And one of my fondest memories is, as a lot of Arab countries and just Middle Eastern countries do, they're very proud of their soccer teams. And when their country wins a like a game, they all go out in their cars and in their trucks, and they're all waving their flags and like driving around the town, like singing like songs about Algeria and how we're number one. And one time that actually happened, it was like the qualifier to get us into the World Cup for the one that year, I guess. And we just like went out at night, and I was sticking my torso out the window, and I was waving the Algerian flag around, singing like a chant. It was like 1, 2, 3, Vive l'Algérie. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. Cause everybody was doing it. And, like the whole village was out in their cars.
Yeah.
Doing it.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
That's probably one of my No, it's definitely my most fond.
Like, I have this thing about traveling. After I went to Italy and Greece, I kind of realized it matters who you go with and what you do.
Yeah.
Because, like, my experience in this most recent thing, this was, like, May. This was April to May of this year. And I went to Italy and Greece with my family on a cruise to just kind of, like, stop over all the spots. It was Italy and Greece and then Turkey, I think, for one of the spots. And all we did really was we looked at the culture and then we went shopping. That's like pretty much verbatim what we did everywhere. We would look at old shit, then go to the shops, and then buy some food, and then go to the ship, and then sleep, and then get up and do another thing. It was also really scheduled too.
Typical tourism. You know, if you want to have a good time in a different country, you gotta stray away from that. Like, you can do that. That's cool. Yeah. Those are definitely attractions that people should check out. But to get a real feel for where you are and like have a good time, maybe you want to make friends with people in that country beforehand.
Yeah, and like crash there.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Like live kind of how like they live. You know.
Yeah.
Get a realistic taste of how the country is instead of just.
And that's why Australia is so appealing, because I got a guy in Sydney, got a guy on the Gold Coast with surfers paradise.
Yeah.
And I got Brisbane, which is just another cool city.
Yeah.
So to check all those out would be top fucking notch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd just say like as long as you go and like do shit that isn't what you would see every American family doing, then you're probably good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got any travels besides
I mean,
that good old island of Marineville, USA?
Yeah, it's called Paris Island, and it's in South Carolina, and it's. I have been nowhere. I have no good travel stories. I mean, I can talk about Paris Island, but it's not a great place to travel to unless you really like watching college-age children get screamed at. But I mean, I guess everybody's got a hobby, and if that's what you like to see, let me tell you, there's plenty of that.
I also
go ahead.
Alright. I also went to Canada. It's no different. I mean, actually, I went to Montreal, so everybody fucking spoke. They all speak French, so that's a language barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That my parents didn't struggle with because they can speak French, but I can't.
They can speak French?
Huh? They can speak French, Arabic, and English.
Oh, that's cool.
I went there because my mom had friends that has a friend that lives there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember distinctly that was the day I got, or like it was the week after I got my skateboard, so I brought it there. I tried to go skating. That was a terrible idea because I sucked at skating. I mean, I still suck, but I'm definitely way better. And I don't know. There was something about that trip. It was a couple of days after. We stayed there for a couple of days, rather. And it was just really nice. I remember distinctly going to like their local school. and there was like a tennis court,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess we played tennis. And there was just like a field that was kind of empty except like some low reeds.
Yeah.
And just the sunset was really beautiful. And it's like days like those, like the evening, like that I remember the most.
Yeah.
Especially, totally off topic, but the previous summer that we just had, kept coming back from another night of Great Value Smash. It was like at this point 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just like I was driving home after dropping off like Joey,
Mm-hmm.
and the sun was coming up, and I really enjoyed that drive just because of the view. It was just really nice to see. It was like still dark, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
It's like the sun is all pink and purple and stuff like that. Yeah.
it's really good. Dawn and dusk are usually when I am happy. Those it's like a day has ended. A day is
Mm-hmm.
here. Enjoy this moment.
One of the things my mom, like one of the reasons my mom wanted to go so badly to Australia for, was just because she found it a place where she could just go to and just get rid of all her stresses and issues and stuff. And I think sometimes that is what really makes the magic of a place. Not exactly how it is, but how you perceive it, you know? And like that can also be the same for both ways. That can be like, I really hate this because all this shit is going on right now and this is just getting in the way and annoying me. That was me with Italy and Greece and Turkey, to be honest, because I had so much like other stuff I wanted to get to and handle, and this was just like an obstacle, and I'm like, I need this to be fucking over, please. And when I was in Australia, it was welcome because I'm like, oh, I got taken out of school, I can relax for 2 weeks, and it's like a nice just chill zone. And then I don't know, stuff like that, like it kind of interlinks with nostalgia and all that. Like what's the reason you like it? Because it appeals to me emotionally, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
That it just reminds me of what you were saying about
Yeah.
the sunsets and the
Going back to like the little things that make you happy. I really enjoy like getting on a Greyhound bus
Mhm.
going to New York. I feel like I'm the most relaxed when I can just put on my headphones and stare out a window at traffic for 2 hours and just not have to worry or think about anything and just listen to my music.
Yeah.
That's one of the. I feel like that is one of the things that make me the most happy.
Yeah.
Just that simple thing.
I find the same thing in like long car rides too, except
Yeah.
the fact that I have to worry about not dying.
Oh yeah.
Especially like driving at night. Like I had to there's one time I was driving my friend to and from a house in Salem, Connecticut, which is like an hour drive from here.
Yeah.
And I had my mom's GPS, and it's the worst GPS ever. Like we went because the way there it like fucked us up a turn, which made us like extend the trip by 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Same thing happened the way up, so I'm like, whatever, this is nice. But it was a combination between like, oh, I'm really fucking scared because it's like 2 a.m. and I have no clue where I am in a part of Connecticut I've never been in, and then there was also the counter of this is kind of great because I have just a long stretch of road in front of me, and I'm talking to a friend and it's a genuine conversation. So it was like, yeah, I feel that. Like sometimes I'll just sit in I'll kind of enjoy, because I had to go volunteer in Southern Connecticut too for my sociology class recently.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was just back and forth, just listening to podcasts and music and stuff, and it was like nice relaxing time.
Yeah. You did that while you were working at the library as well, right?
Yeah, it was just like it helped me kind of just zone out so that it wasn't like annoying. I wasn't like checking the time all the time, but I was still able to get work done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice. What about you? What's your little thing that makes you the most happy, or at least gives you?
I don't know. I mean, I will say I really enjoy long car rides. Like the ride up to AAC when we went to to this anime convention in mid-October. And like even before we got to the convention, it was in New Hampshire, so that was like, I don't know how many hours.
2 hours.
Yeah,
2 hours.
like 2 hours from Connecticut to New Hampshire. And it was just like me and Eunice and one of our other friends. just drove up and listened to music and, you know, shot the shit for a while, which I find really relaxing. I really enjoy, like, going for walks, especially, like, in the middle of the woods, you know, just, like, the ability, because I'm a person who's, like, very hooked into the internet and technology as a whole, but I really enjoy the ability to just, get away from everything and just be in a place where there's no, you know, internet, and I don't have to, like, check my Facebook messages and, you know, keep constantly, like, thinking about whatever I'm worried about. I can just let that go and just meditate a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I've done that several times in the summer. And, like, as going back to that whole thing where you're talking about the sunsets and the sunrise, that's going on walks in the summer, in this summer specifically, because I never really did it before that.
Yeah.
They're, like, I can go back to those moments and, like, I remember what I was thinking and what I was feeling at those times. Yeah. And it was, like, it's important, but it's not really important, you know? It's like, oh, I went on a walk. That's a mediocre thing. It's, like, not really groundbreaking. But mentally, like, in what I was emotionally feeling, it was definitely important.
Yeah.
And, like, I definitely agree with you. Like, being able to, like, kind of disconnect and just, like, leave is a great thing. Especially, like, when I'm trying to make stuff and I have, like, writer's block or whatever, I will get up, I will leave, and I will retrain my mind on something else, and then I'll come back to it with a fresh perspective, you know, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. Yo, what the fuck?
What does he just shitposting?
I feel like there should, like, in the past couple days, he's just, like, sat down and been in a lecture and been bored, and, like, rather than just doing nothing or zoning out because it's like he doesn't need to pay attention because it's for, like, a fundamental class that he already knows all the stuff in.
Yeah.
He just posts vaguely funny stuff to Facebook to keep himself occupied. And today, I think he's at, like, somebody's birthday party, but, like, a little kid that's, like, cousin. A relative or something. Yeah, his cousin, alright.
So he's just, like, dragged there and
so yeah, he was,
Plays a video game.
I find it really funny because it's, like, an interesting mental exercise to me. Yeah. To be able to just come up with a bunch of, like, little funny one-liners on the fly like that.
That's kind of a form of, like, this probably isn't in the same vein at all, but I'm making a connection anyway. Last year, I was in my senior year of high school, I had a class called critical writing, and it was one of my favorite teachers, but he pushed us really hard, and one of those things he made us do was, like, it was like a brainstorming exercise where you would just have 15 minutes and you would write that entire time. Like, you could not stop. What you wrote didn't have to make sense or anything, but you just had to keep going. And essentially what it did is he explained it as it, like, broke through a level of consciousness and made you think deeper about things, and it kind of works. It's like if you just make your mind work for a certain amount of time, then it just kind of sets the level for everything else. And that's kind of, in a way, what he's doing, in a way, vaguely.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's just constantly working his mind to output more just bullshit, which it doesn't have to really mean much, but it can be used to achieve another goal.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, like, as a creator, as, like, I guess artist or some kind of creative person, it's important to do that, to always have, like, ideas going.
Yeah.
You know, like, I write things and I'm always, like, working on some kind of short story or whatever. Mm-hmm. Even if I don't finish in it and doesn't, like, make it to a finished product, the idea is there, and I'm always, like, writing down different themes and things that might be, you know, interesting to write about.
Yeah, it's an evolution of your thought and your style.
Yeah, you gotta be, you know, creative, idea, thinker, and also entrepreneur. Right?
Yeah?
By 2070.
Now you're just quoting Sam Hyde. You're just... You want to skip straight to state-enforced homosexuality?
Get over it.
What is your speech supposed to mean? It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yes.
That's my favorite part of that video at the end is because somebody like really was like
He's
really
bored.
really thought they were gonna get something out of it and they just didn't. They were like missing one piece and then the whole puzzle was gonna come together and he was like, nah, it's nothing, man. It's just there's nothing here.
So it's like you ask like there's like old ancient artists like, oh, what did this piece mean? I just fucking drew, dude. I was on like
the Mona Lisa, right?
I was on like different types of drugs, you know.
I was really high and I saw this lady and I was like, I'm gonna draw that when I get home.
Like I gotta practice drawing hands. Shit. Now it's just there are floating hands here. Might as well draw the rest of the body. And that's how
the Mona Lisa was created.
Woo!
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess that's in the same vein as like monkeys at a typewriter could make Mozart or just Shakespeare or whatever.
Typing away, I'm a nigga machine.
Excuse me.
Yeah, give him the old left right good night.
It's terrible. But yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess it's just important that you like practice your art no matter what you do, because you can gain skill as much as you can lose skill, and then like it's not gonna be good if you lose the skill but maintain the ego, and then you're like, shit, I can't even draw tans, you know?
Yeah.
I don't even understand the concept of value.
I don't even understand the concept of hard work. I am a true artist.
I on a serious note think that like ego has a certain value in art, but at the same time you have to keep it under control, because like if you're just self-deprecating to the point where you're not even attempting to get better, then that's bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if you think, yeah, I'm really, I'm great at this, you don't
Everything
have
I
that
make is
hunger
great.
to improve.
Yeah, you don't have,
And you're just manufacturing the same thing over and over again, and you're not changing or improving over time.
yeah.
So I think it's like almost important to be a little bit self-deprecating in your creation.
You have to be critical at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that just kind of comes naturally with a lot of people.
Yeah.
We'll always look at our work and be like, this is shit!
Yeah.
I want to die.
And that kind of sucks sometimes though, because like I was listening to even like the previous podcast and I'm like, man, this is ass. And like that A gives me like, oh, I should improve it. But that B is like, I fucking suck. Like
I should just stop, right? I should just kill myself.
You just have to you have to balance it with logic and be like, you know what, this is good. Even if I suck at this, it's still a good thing to do, and I like it. So fuck myself.
I certainly think it's also important in that regard to like seek out alternative perspectives and show your work to somebody else, because like when I'm writing something, at the end of it, if I've been writing something and I've got like 6 pages that I've been working on for like 3 days and I read it all again, I'm like, this is shit.
Yeah.
I can't fucking send this to anyone. But if someone else reads it and is like, no, this is, it's easier for them to identify, and I know you had said something about this earlier, like with a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
It's easier to identify what's workable and what isn't when you haven't been like dumping your time into whatever it is.
Yeah. Like I definitely feel the same about that. Like there's been times where I've been like working on stuff and then like I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, and I show it to my friend, and the moment I show it to my friend, I see my own mistake and I'm like, shit, this is terrible. And, like even like about the thought of showing it to someone else can like make you look at it differently. It's like, oh, this is me from my eyes, I don't really give a fuck, and then it's like, oh wait, I see all the flaws now. But yeah, it's good to have different perspective, and it's also good to keep the advice you get from those perspectives with a grain of salt. But like, because some people, like if you're showing it to like, let's be like, oh, I have this audio from something, and you're showing it to someone who knows nothing about like audio or like what you're making or anything. And then they're like, this is kind of gay.
Was it that well?
It's like, yeah, if they don't know really what is about, like what it is you're doing, and you show it to them and you get bad feedback, it's kind of like, yeah, they don't really know what they're saying, so you shouldn't really take that to heart, you know?
Yeah, just check out my script for my new anime, dude.
Just be like, I
Yes.
can't even hear the voices. This is gay.
Yeah.
Shit. What are we gonna talk about? We could talk about
Minecraft.
I mean, this is kind of the art episode. We can talk more about art.
Yeah.
I have a friend. His name is Dean. You've met him before.
Yeah, I've met him like a couple of times.
Yeah, and he's an artist. He's definitely he's a visual artist, I'd say, and he has a lot of pieces that he does it all, I'd say. I remember maybe last month I brought him to a thing down in near New Haven where he showed off his portfolio, and I remember a lot of the things that he showed to colleges. He was showing them to colleges because that's a thing you do, I guess, for art college.
Yeah.
And he designed like a shirt and a like album art for a band.
Yeah.
And it looked really, really authentic, really official. And he just has a lot of things that are definitely creative, and I'm using the lamest words here, but unique.
Yeah.
And they're all done really well, I'd say. And he was really nervous and critical about like what the schools were gonna think. And I have a basic understanding of like aspects of art, like what looks good, what doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And I mean, they all looked great for what they were. And I guess when it comes to like a portfolio, you just gotta make sure you're like showing the right stuff, showing your strengths.
And it's also selected to who you're showing it to and what they're looking for and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's really talented, and he's gone through and done a lot of things that I've just been genuinely impressed with.
Yeah.
And he's kind of someone that I guess I'd aspire to be in terms of artistically.
Yeah.
Just be able to like try new things and, you know, develop an understanding to where like it can look good.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, including myself, they're like when they think of trying new things, they're like, oh shit, I'm just taking on a whole new responsibility. Like if you really enjoy doing like audio editing or whatever, and you're like, man, I don't fuck with that video editing shit, and it's like
you know your boy don't fuck with no video shit, you know.
I'm just it's a terrible example, but
McDonald's, work on your presentation.
It's like, I think the more artistic stuff that you try your hand at, the more you know what is it creatively that I'm trying to accomplish over all of these things. Like what, and it helps you define like kind of, this is terrible, but like a theme. Like it's a terrible word, but like kind of like a theme for all your art, like a mantra to follow. Kind of, it's hard to really say, but you know how it's like, what is the artist or the faggot trying to tell in this piece of gay? It's
piece
like
of this gay fag. Bitch cut.
It's like in English class, it's like tell us the theme of the piece, and you have to
what
be
is Marty McFly trying to tell you with this? That rock and roll is good.
What is Adolf Hitler trying to tell you in Mein Kampf? I don't know. I can't read German.
And bada bing, bada boom. 6 million were dead.
Shit. But yeah, I mean, I've been making shit for 4 years, 5 years, 6. I've been making shit since I was 2 years old. Little wee bab. I used to make comics. I used to make games. I used to make terrible Let's Play videos. I used to make every other type of video you can imagine. I used to make
Minecraft videos.
I used to make Terraria videos.
Hey.
Starbound videos.
Hey.
Even getting more advanced.
It's an evolution.
The Vince McMahon, just like.
But I still have no clue what I'm trying to accomplish with it. I just know that I like making shit. I like saying, I did this. I like showing work for my time. I like doing all that. I like making stuff my own way.
Yeah.
And I still have yet to refine it to a mantra or any of that shit. And maybe I don't have to. Maybe it's just like, I'm just using everyone else as a kind of a comparison, but I mean it's like inevitable that I'm going to compare myself to other people. Like you can't not, but
Yeah.
you have to just be merciful with yourself. Like you can't be like, oh, look at that person, he made 1 billion things in 2 weeks, but it turns out he's like one of the most unhappiest people ever. And you're like, man, I wish I was him. It's like you really don't wish you were them, but
Yeah.
I wish I was a crybaby Becky.
Well, that's the other thing. Like you have,
Einstein.
there's so many artists that are like actually, they're really almost. I guess it sounds cliche to use the word tortured, but like, you know, a lot of really good art comes from pain.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, they're on the surface level, they're really famous and they have a lot of money and they're really successful, but they're not happy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to find like
a Keith Emerson.
yeah, it's hard to find a balance.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately, like, you have to stop yourself and figure out, like, how do I create but maintain, like, some level of personal happiness?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't destroy yourself.
You know?
Yeah, we went to my digital photography class. We studied a lady who I forget the first name of, but her last name was Woodman. She was a photographer who took a lot of self-portraits, but apparently told everyone that they weren't about herself. She killed herself at age 22 by jumping off a building.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there's a lot of mystery and deeper meaning that should be dug out of it that pertains to her, because a lot of people, like, you can say that this has nothing to do with you, but this is your vision. This is an idea, a concept that, you know, came to fruition within your mind.
It was expressed for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of yourself in the pictures and art that you make. No matter
That you
what.
might not even know.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, expression is reflective of how you feel, it's how you want to feel, it's who you are, who you want to be. It's a huge mess of all these things, but eventually, like, I think it's very interesting to see the differences and the, because, like, I mean, it's weird because I'm a fan of disorganized and organized shit. I'm a fan of happy and sad shit. It just all depends on how I feel. It all depends on, you know, what my current outlook is and everything, and all that is subject to change, which is, that's why I like seeing artists and their, you know, what they made 2 years ago, what they made a year ago, and what they made now.
Yeah.
Like, to see the difference and all their evolution. It's interesting.
No, it is. Especially, like, this is very prevalent in bands. Like, when bands start to, like, change their sound.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with, you know, the best example I can think of
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, well...
I mean, he's not a band, but
you don't know yet, but...
Yeah.
Like, yes. They started out very prog heavy and trying to change with the times, went into very poppy rock.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Blink-182, but like their sound was more jingle jangle,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
stuff like that. In comparison to their earlier stuff, which was like, you know, considered revolutionary and progressive rock, where especially, you know, my favorite album, Close to the Edge. Their constant changing time signatures and just an array of instruments and just contrast. It's just a big contrast between the two. One place you can find that shift.
Yeah.
In ideas.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what evolves from people, especially if they're like, especially seeing people go from sad to happy, happy to sad, content to discontent, like. How different they can be, you know? How like, just little things like just a year. What a year can do to somebody. And there are people, especially around, this happens a lot around, like, the high school to college age, where, like, your lifestyle is like, you know what? Fuck all that. Let me just do this for now. And then, like, people see you and they're like, who is this person? I would never imagine this person doing this, you know? It's definitely weird.
Yeah.
change is something I'm still like, I'm kind of fascinated about because it doesn't follow a pattern really. You change when you're ready to change and when you want to change. It's kind of like a complex byproduct of everything that's happening around you and internally and externally and all that shit. So art is kind of like an expressive thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's it's weird because how art mixes with like the commercialism of today.
Mm-hmm.
Because art, it's weird because you have art that's like not genuine in a way because you're contracting other people to make stuff for you. And it, like, I've heard stories of people who like really love to draw and shit, and then they're in a position drawing stuff for a company, and they're like, I hate this because this isn't my stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And it's weird because people are like, oh, if you're good at drawing or writing, like, if you're writing, be a journalist. If you're good at drawing, be a graphic designer. It's like, yeah, how exactly rewarding is that compared to doing your own stuff? And it's the fact that people don't want to take the challenge sometimes, and just like it ends up in like a, you should be. And everyone's like, oh, this guy should be happy. They're doing what they love doing, and it's like I hate myself because I'm not doing anything fulfilling, you know?
Yeah. That reminds me. There's an artist that Dean told me about. That only releases one piece of art a year, and it's not made by him. It's made by like a team of artists that kind of just print them out like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good example of not like after he like did his own thing and like made his own paintings at first, and then he got rich, and then as a result he just started doing the same stuff over and over again, and you know it's a formula that he just follows that doesn't stray from any path.
And that can work for some people. That's not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
Some people some people like not what is a creation or not what is a product of what they're doing, but sometimes people just like doing the thing. Some people just like writing in general to get, you know, it's like a venting process, and after that they're like, this is trash, I don't need this anymore. But I guess the same thing could be said with like art. I guess some people would be set in those situations where it's like, I just like the therapeutic act of drawing, and besides that, it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Some people are creators, some people are, you know, mechanical. And that's not really a bad thing. It's just, you know, some people have different area niches, you know.
Yeah, but I feel like in that case, as in like renowned as this person is, to do that would kind of get rid of any purpose, or not purpose, but meaning that this painting might have, because it's supposed to be considered, you know, influential or substantial or whatever. Like,
I guess if you're taking something meaningful and producing it, like, I guess that would be negative. Yeah, I can see that, because it's like, I guess it's the same thing with like the genuinity of companies, which doesn't exist really. It's like everyone's doing everything for money. It's like money. It's like, oh, listen to your fans. It's like, but this gives me more money.
Yeah. Well, I think that back to like the original topic of money versus happiness, it's a lot of people go for money just because it's easier to quantify.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at an amount of money or take an inventory of, you know, I have this really nice house and a couple nice cars and a boat and whatever.
Yeah.
It's harder to take like a psychological inventory of your life and be like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
You know, introspection is not easy.
Yeah.
And it comes more easily to some people than it does to others, but even if you're sort of good at it, it's difficult to like look at everything and realize that whatever you're doing now and all this you're only doing things because of inertia, which I feel like is something that happens to a lot of people, especially like as they get older.
Yeah.
Once they've been in their job for, 10, 15 years, but they don't like what they do anymore. They're just doing it because it makes them money.
Yeah.
And that's just what they've been doing, so they just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's it definitely takes courage in general to like kind of counter yourself, because if you're in one state of mind and you've been in that way for years, say years, challenging that, because you're kind of challenging your own ideas. You're challenging the boundary of your life, and it's like, do I really want to risk challenging this to just basically just destroy everything that I've worked for? And sometimes it's a smart idea, sometimes it's not. I guess it would more often be a smart idea because you're truly listening to your own internal feelings and your own ideas instead of what is predisposed in front of you. And sometimes you're the one who's wrong, and sometimes you have to admit that you're wrong, which is painful for people, but including myself. But you know, it happens. Like most recently, I've had several, you know, career choice changes and different outlooks on life that have faded and been reborn. But I don't know, it's definitely, I mean, I guess we're just at this age where it's like everything is, this is our second puberty in a row, you know. We're fucking redefining ourselves in a more complex way.
The physical, mental puberty.
Yeah. Well, I think, I know exactly what you mean, because, like, I graduated high school, and then didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I got into the military, and then I was in the military for months, and then I broke both my legs, and it was like, well, you can't do this anymore. And, like, when I first got home, I just sunk into the deepest of depressions, because I was like, well, I'm exactly where I fucking started.
Yeah.
But now I'm, like, not as physically fit as I was because it still hasn't, like, completely healed.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't really know, like, what I want to do.
Yeah.
And, like, I realize I could go to college, but again, like, it still doesn't feel like it's right for me, you know? And, I mean, I've been kind of getting more and more into art lately, especially, like, in the past few months, I've picked up piano, and I've started kind of learning that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I've also started writing a lot more just because I don't really know what I want to do as a career, but I know that I enjoy creating things. Yeah. You know? And, like, participating in the creative process, especially, like, even with other people. Because it's interesting to, like, have a thing that multiple people make, you know, when you're, an example would be, like, if you're in a band, like, it's not just you causing that music to happen, there's a bunch of other people, you know, working with you, all creating something, and at the end of it, it comes together.
Yeah, which is kind of like this.
Yeah, well, this is, I'm interested in the process, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of why I started doing this in the first place, because I kind of got a little tired of doing everything on my own. That is also a factor, but there's also something to be said about not only your ideas being put into something, but everyone's input and everyone's effort, which it does make something its own, you know, unique thing. And I think also people tend to forget about that when it comes to, like, when people see movies or games or any other, like, media on, like, in the public eye, it's always like, oh, this year sucks, and it's like, well, maybe this just sucks because this person, like, this director decision was forced upon the thing, and or maybe, I don't know, it was meant to be that way. It's hard to do that in a large company scale because it's produced art. It's different, I think.
It's a lot easier. Like, the smaller the team, the easier it is to, like, make sure that your ideas are heard and that your product is it's still yours at the end of it. Like, one of the bigger examples of this, I read an article a while ago, whenever the movie came out, but the newest Fantastic Four movie was fucking terrible. It was not a good movie. But it was an interview with the director, and he was like, I got a script. It was a really good script. I really liked the script. I hired the people that I wanted to hire, and then the studio sent down an executive to monitor all of the filming, and he just wouldn't let us make the fucking movie we wanted to make.
Yeah.
And it was, like, everything from, like, once they got the cast established, from shooting to editing to putting out the final product and the marketing of it, was like, okay, here's the artistic vision we have. We think it's going to be really good. And the guy would be like, well, I think it would sell better, to do this. Or like, the 18 to 35 male market in North America would prefer our focus group show something different. And I think that a lot of, like you were saying with produced art, when you have something that, like, starts out as a vision in someone or a small group of people's minds and then hits, like, that corporate thing, and especially this happens with movies because it costs a lot of money to make a movie versus a lot of other forms of art. You can make an album in your basement, you can record a podcast or make a YouTube video, but to make, like, a 2-hour cinematic movie with a bunch of special effects and 3D animated stuff, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So you need a studio like that, but how do you control, it's a really difficult balance to strike, keeping your creative freedom while also keeping the studio happy.
And keeping your pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, that's definitely that's definitely a problem that I think every modern, I guess, artist has to come across, because you can't just, like, nowadays, I think it's kind of it's interesting because everyone really can make art, everyone really can make media and everything. It's really easy, and you have to not only establish a name and a uniqueness to yourself, but you also have to make money, and some people want to make the money by doing the thing. Some people want to make money on the side and then do the thing as, their own expression. And some people just want to make money and then make the media as a byproduct. So it's really, there's a lot of variety to what could be. But I think getting from the point to, I'm making this on the side and making my money, and then all of a sudden being able to make the money from the thing, it's kind of, I don't know, I can imagine that being, I don't know where I was going with that. I hate when I do that. I just fucking go on tangents.
I kind of understand though, like, it's different when you have to have a day job, and then, like, that transition from going from someone who, like, I write in my free time but I work at Starbucks to this is my job now, and I write as a career.
Yeah, it's like if you were to just.
What? Oh, yeah.
It's like for an example, it's like if you were to be writing for, like, ages on the side for, like, maybe, like, several years, and then you're all of a sudden you made a big hit, and you're like, I want to make more of these. It's like, from that judgment, especially if you're, like, newer in the industry and you don't really know what's going on, you can definitely, that's where people get played. That's where people, like, that's what sucks about industries and stuff. That's like, at ground level, you can definitely be fucked with.
Yeah.
You have to make a name for yourself.
Well, but I think also another thing that's important is, like, not ending up as a one-hit wonder. Like, a lot of artists, they have a really big hit, and, like, an example is, like, if, a publisher hires J.K. Rowling, they don't give a shit about what she has to offer. They want her to bring Harry Potter numbers, and they want her to make more of that.
Yeah.
They don't actually care what she has to say as an artist. And, like, to an extent, I'm guilty of it too, because when was the last, like, non-Harry Potter related thing that she wrote that you heard about?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it especially happens in the music world more so than a lot of other areas, because you have, like, singles, you have one song that's, like, the really big hit that year, and then after that the artist is really struggling because they get, a little bit of success and they get kind of accustomed to that success, but then they don't know how to follow up on it, I guess. And it's difficult with art to be consistent, to consistently capture an audience. Few people get that chance to even have one, like, really successful piece of art, and fewer still, it's hard to be able to do that again and again.
Yeah. And I think mainly that has to do with genuinity, because, like, if you were to, as, Eunice's example was the dude who made influential piece of art and then followed the formula for more of that.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the same thing. It's like if you want to keep doing that, you have to be formulaic about it, and to be formulaic is kind of, in some cases, is disingenuous. In some cases, not all the time, because like to have structure is nice.
Yeah.
But to have a formula that restricts creativity, that's less genuine, and that's what happens actually sometimes, and a lot of times in media, because you're forced to be that way to be successful. So
Yeah.
unless you're just lucky, then and then you could just be. I mean, I'm sure a lot of what Filthy Frank makes. I'm sure a lot of that's just like, oh, this is a funny thing to put in for the kids, and then he makes his own shit on the side,
But I think that's why so many people like him, is that he's genuinely just like, they go to a Goodwill and see a big old Twister mat and go, what if we put rat traps on that?
Yeah.
And like, it's stupid, but it's funny, and it's genuinely like something that, everyone who watches it can look at that and go, okay, I see where this is coming from.
Yeah.
I too have had the urge to shoot bottle rockets at someone. It's. I think that he has a very, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like a very good mastery on making like weird things that are like, they're really far out there, but at the same time,
it's also
really relatable in a weird way.
Relatable.
Do you have anything to offer, Eunice?
No.
So
No.
what's your Filthy Frank video? Which is fuck.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any like jerk chicken recipes you want to share with the audience? Maybe how to make a good stir fry.
You take the chicken, right? And you look it right in the fucking eyes. And you say,
Is this while it's alive?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
of course. You say to it, I'm gonna heat you up. I'm gonna punch you right up, dude. And that chicken's gonna look at you. He's not gonna understand what you're saying because he's a fucking chicken, you
Fucking
dumbass.
idiot,
Like,
dude.
fucking stupid. Like, what are you talking to a chicken for, idiot? God! Such a fucking dumbass, dude. I'm so angry.
The highest form of comedy. Eunice a little teen.
Well, that was it for this episode. Please sure to check us out for more episodes in the future. We're gonna maintain this quality throughout we're consistent. We never miss we do miss a deadline every once in a while. I'm sorry.
We do.
We Comedy Central tomorrow. Our show airs. Please watch
South Park.
South Park
Season
2.
12, 9,
Yeah.
South Park number 2 episode season 12.
8, 7.
So
we can just end it right there.
Alright.
Like if you wanted to.
All right. Do you want me to hit the stop button?
Yeah. Sure.
Fuck.